Greetings, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome to a one-off special from Scum. Yay! I haven't done a Scum video for a while. I'm planning on this coming out for Christmas, so I guess I'm wishing you all a very scummy Christmas. No, seriously guys, try and have a good one. And if you can also manage it, make sure you have yourself a fantastic new year. Now, I tried something I've been suggesting to a few Scum people out there. To the max was the premise for this particular episode, or this particular special. Now, I'm going to go into more details about that pretty soon. I ended up chopping the character creation because it was pretty bland, because the to the max philosophy, it's impossible to make that work in your character generation. In reality, what I did was I slid any sliders that I had influence over all the way to the right, being the maximum, but that only applied to one or two things, so wasn't that interesting. But one of the things that it did apply to is which character that I took. And honestly, at the time I did it, I didn't think it was going to make the difference that it did. Oh yes, welcome to landing at the top of a tree and now trying to work out if this episode is going to be over before it begins. No, we fell out of the tree, we gave ourselves a C1 leg injury. Yeah, we're just going to heal that up in the background. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is we're in a suit, we already have a courier backpack, and we have some equipment already. That's an unintended side effect of me sliding the character slider all the way to the right. Now, all the way to the right is where the DLC characters tend to be. Whoop, excuse me. Now, the one on the very end, I can't remember who it is, but I don't have that DLC. So I thought I'll come one in from the end and I'll see what's there. And it's this Lewis character from Breaking Bad. He's one of the two nasty guys that use axes and all kinds of things in that Breaking Bad series. And I think they make a bit of an appearance in Better Call Saul as well, from if memory serves. But we ended up with that character, and it looks like that character comes with some equipment. It's not really going to make a big difference to our overall outcome, so I didn't actually feel a need to go back and regenerate the character. Now, here we are. I'm going to end up cutting most of this because this took me probably about 20 minutes to go through all the preferences and work out what the maximum number was going to be in any one of these things. But the rule I had was where it was a yes or a no or a true or a false, I had to turn it to yes. Now, that has some mixed effects because if you, the sentry and the dynamite puppets, C4 puppets, answering yes means they get disabled. But there's some other things that answering yes is not very good. Mostly to do with the chances of being raided by a drone and things of that nature. So it was a bit of a mixed bag. Probably overall I ended up with a little bit less threat than I might have otherwise had in the form of, you know, special stuff. But again, you're going to find by the end of this episode that that's probably not going to be that relevant. Now, there was one thing I had to concede to myself, which is, look, you can probably see okay because I applied a gamma correction, in editing that allowed some visibility with the night darkness on the darkest setting. Trust me, when I was playing, I couldn't see 2 inches in front of my face. So I made one concession, and it was purely a visual concession, purely to try and save me a bit of time in the edit as well. I allowed myself to have the lightest setting I could, given our day, sunlight, I think we get sunlight for about 20 seconds a day, because the first setting you come across is when is dawn. So I set that at like midnight, and when is dusk is like minutes, like not even a minute after it. So the entire day is basically nighttime. So we've maxed the night because that was just the way that those preferences are presented to you. If you're going to put the biggest number in, that's what you're going to end up with. Now, where there is numbers, and for the bulk of it, I did intentionally try and find what the largest acceptable number was. Quite a lot of the tooltips don't tell you. So I had a lot of, punching in 9999999 until it would turn red to indicate that the number was too big, and I would bring it down until it was at the maximum possible number. Now, for 2 or 3 things, I'm going to say I just lost patience with that, and it was stuff that wasn't really going to affect me anyway, so I just put a big number in there and I just left it at that. But all of the key stuff to do with puppets and NPCs and all that other jazz, we've set those to maximum. So generally speaking, that means our puppets have higher health, they hit harder, they spawn further away, they don't recheck spawns very often because there's a big delay. Our loot is on the highest setting. We've got the maximum number of cars, boats, caravans, motorcycles, the whole 9 yards. We have the absolute maximum of all of those. And that's kind of the gist of it. Now, there's going to be some conclusions we're going to reach on this. And I'm not going to spoil your 2 hours of viewing telling you what those conclusions are now. But part of the maxing of the settings out has made this permadeath, because there's a number reflecting the threshold. So basically on a per death basis you can set a penalty. Obviously I'll put the biggest number in possible, and you can set a threshold of, the how far in the red or how many deaths or whatever the thing is. You can set a number which is again very high. But those 2 numbers are the same number, which means on the first death, the penalty is going to prevent me from respawning, ergo this becomes a permadeath run. Now, I'm not going to tell you how many times. That would be spoiling it. I'm not going to tell you what the outcome was. That would be spoiling it. But I'm going to suggest you get somewhere comfortable. You grab some snacks. You think good thoughts about vehicle spawns and things of that nature. And, yep, we are going to begin. Now, in the background there, while I was doing my briefing, we did make ourselves a bow. Because we already have the courier backpack, I made a squillion arrows. Basically, I just filled the courier backpack with arrows. We have our big metal axe that we spawned with, but I'm going to predict it's not going to be a great melee weapon, because you could see how slowly he swings it, just chopping wood. I imagine it probably hits pretty hard, but trying to time it with the swing against a puppet, given our puppets have higher health and they hit harder, I don't think it's going to get the job done. So we're hanging on to it because it might come in handy with some crafting or making more arrows or whatever in the future. Not to mention, it looks pretty sick. So we're going to hang on to it for a bit. Now, normally when you spawn in the snow zone, your character normally spawns in with things like beanies and extra layers to try and make sure you don't freeze to death immediately. we haven't done that. That's one of the downsides of picking this DLC character. Is the yeah, it's a fixed outfit, and we are getting hypothermia. So our priority here is to get a couple of extra layers going as quickly as we can. Now, the good news is our loot setting is really high, so the chances of us finding some more warm gear before we completely freeze to death is pretty good. Now, I find it amusing that this cartel assassin has put Fluffy Bunny shoes in his bag. There's probably a few outfits that we're going to come across that sort of go against the grain a bit, but hey, look, if we can't have a bit of comedy value in our permadeath run, what's the point? Unfortunately, I will spoil it and I'll say we don't ever actually put the Fluffy Bunny shoes on. I might save that for a future event, but for the moment, I picked them up on the off chance that we get desperate and I need to put something on my feet that's warmer than the leather boots that I'm wearing at the moment. So either that or, worst comes to worst, we can chop it up, hopefully, and get a bit of cloth if we need some more bandages. So, yes, we're looking around. We haven't seen anything yet. Now, that seems a little odd, simply because we've got the maximum amount of puppets. Granted, the spawning timer is a little on the long side. Maybe that's contributing a little bit here. We're going to have to keep going a bit longer before we can draw any conclusions on that front. But the car thing seems to be working out. I mean, that's a Laker. It is missing a driver's seat though, and it is missing one wheel, and it might be missing an alternator. I couldn't quite tell. I'm a bit rusty with where stuff is on these cars. I seem to average playing Scum, I don't know, two or three times a year, so I do get quite rusty with this. It does have a battery though, and it's probably got a little bit of fuel in it. Now, it's worth noting that some of the numbers that we changed in the settings refer to how quickly stuff replenishes, so water and fuel and that sort of stuff. But also there are sliders / numbers to do with how quickly stuff degrades, and more importantly, our metabolism. Yeah, our metabolism is running probably ×2 on what it normally would be, and that is something that would be a concern if we weren't on max loot. But it's definitely the need to eat very regularly. I mean, I'm talking eating more often than the average teenager does, just to stop myself running out of calories. Yeah, that's always at the forefront. Every time I'm looking around, I'm trying to get some extra food going and just make sure that we're in credit where we can. There are a few times where we do dip down a bit, but not terribly so. Yeah, that Laker would be nice to come back for, but we're going to have to find a Laker with a donor driver's seat. And if my past history is anything to go by, I have a feeling that's not going to be easy to come by, but look, we'll wait and see. Yeah, what else is there to say about our settings? Oh yeah. Anyone want to leave a comment down below what some of the other sliders are that might be quite detrimental to our run if they were dragged all the way to the max? Yes. Leave a comment down below with some of the sliders you think would be absolute nightmare fuel on the maximum setting. Yes, the little bit of arts and crafts that we did at the start to make the bow and the arrows actually wore the axe down quite a bit. So given we've got a toolbox and a drill press, we are just using that combo to top up our axe on the off chance that we're not going to get an opportunity in the future. I mean, I think that's kind of unlikely because there are quite a lot of drill presses around, and with our loot setting, it's reasonable to assume in this kind of building we're going to be coming across toolboxes fairly regularly. So, still doesn't hurt to be prepared in case we don't. I've just realised we missed the... yeah, there's a locker on the ground there that we missed looting. The joys of watching this stuff back while we're editing. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a ton of things that I have missed. So we'll add to our list of things to leave in the comments down below. Leave me a comment with a timestamp and indicate if I've missed any vehicles. So obviously the Laker doesn't count because we saw that one. But if I miss a, bicycle, motorbike, car, or anything like that, yep, leave me a timestamp and what it was that I missed on the off chance that we get an opportunity to come back for it later. I'm suppressing my urge to laugh maniacally here. Damn, I didn't do a good enough job. Anyway, yes, we are clearly not going to be able to come back for it because reasons. Yeah, we'll just leave it as reasons for now. I hope everyone is having a good old time. A little side note here. I'm not actually running this on Windows. Didn't see that coming, did you? Well, actually, those that watch my videos regularly will know what's going on. But yes, Scum single player does work through Steam on Linux. It actually runs surprisingly well. I mean, I'm recording this in the background, obviously. And I had like moments of frame lag once in a blue moon. But other than that, the frame rate was actually extremely good. And I actually didn't have any issues. Not too long after the end of the recorded session, so basically when I was, I'd stopped recording and I was just sort of quitting out to start the editing process, Scum did crash on me, but the error code it gave me it can be just a compatibility thing with running it in Steam on Linux. And it's just to do with graphics and textures, and it's honestly it is something that I've encountered before. So given this 2-hour session was recorded on basically a brand new install that I hadn't done any configuring on, I think it ran extremely well. Now there is one thing which you can't do in on Scum on Linux is you can't play multiplayer because multiplayer is completely disabled simply because you don't have the ability to run the kernel level anti-cheat, and this applies to all of them at this stage that I'm aware of, but specifically the one with Scum, the old one and the new one, none of them work in Linux. So given the multiplayer enforces anti-cheat, if you can't run it, you can't play multiplayer. So yeah, Scum multiplayer is disabled in Linux. That is a big bit of a downside. And look, if the Scum devs want to, allow you to at least host your own games, I mean, we have the server now. If you want to enable it so that you can just run it on your own server and not have to, have any cheat running to do it, just like what 7 Days to Die does, that would be awesome, and I would certainly think a lot more highly of them. I think it's extremely unlikely, though. The devs have made it plainly, abundantly clear that they are very anti-cheating. Their whole delayed development cycle is to try and stop people coming up with hacks and things like that. I'll let you do your own research in terms of how successful that has been, but they are very adamant that the anti-cheat is just going to be part and parcel of running Scum multiplayer. So I am really not anticipating that changing anytime soon. And to be honest, I really object to anti-cheat myself. Not because I want to cheat, quite the opposite actually. I object to just the way it runs and the level of system access it has in order to do its job. I think it's, potentially, if not by the guys that actually make the anti-cheat software, but by potentially a nasty third party, if they were to, hotwire that, so to speak. I'm not even sure if it's possible, but to basically anti-cheat gets a level of access to your computer through the kernel that is a bit scary. And honestly, now that I'm off Windows, I'm much, much, much more inclined to just tighten up privacy and system access in general, which is quite easy to do in Linux if you even half know what you're doing. And given this is not my first Linux install, I've got a pretty damn good idea as to how to lock a system down quite effectively. So that is what I have done, and I would not want to spoil that with any attempt, even if the anti-cheat software became available in Linux. I don't think I'd ever want to enable it. So yeah, anyway, that's just me getting on my soapbox once again. Anyone who is a regular viewer will know to expect that from time to time. And now I've got that little tizzy out of my system, we can carry on with our searching. Haven't really found anything particularly remarkable as yet. I mean, we got a backpack, but it's only the... it was an upgrade over the courier one, but we could certainly do better if our luck allows us to. Had any thoughts about some of the other sliders that might be a bit horrific to have maxed out? Well, you've had some clues so far. Given the act of jumping or vaulting through a window leaves my dude absolutely exhausted. Now, you're not going to see it on screen because one of the settings that I end up enabling through my to the max preference is disabling the on-screen representations of health and stamina and that sort of stuff. So you don't see on screen, but you do see messages. So you'll see when he jumps through a window, a message comes up and he says, "Oh, if I don't lie down right now, I might die of exhaustion." Okay, so basically all the exhaustion stuff is turned on, but worse than that, it's turned on and set to the highest setting. So jumping, like one jump, would be pretty much exhausting my entire stamina pool. So yeah, we're not going to be doing a lot of that in our getting around. We don't do too badly jogging around, and because we have to eat so frequently, we're not actually building up any kind of an exhaustion bar. Now, exhaustion is a mechanic they added to Scum a little while back, but you can alleviate exhaustion by eating and drinking, and each food or drink has a stat in terms of how much exhaustion points it can get rid of. Well, the advantage of having such a high metabolism is we are eating and drinking very frequently, which means we're not really getting an opportunity to build up a lot of points in exhaustion. That, and we're still within an hour basically of spawning in, so we haven't really been sort of around the park enough, so to speak, to develop enough tiredness anyway. So We have developed enough to need to have a whiz, so we're going to do that. And yeah, we're gonna resume our search. See if there's any other sliders you can think of that would not be great. And I don't know, maybe is there any sliders that would be great set to the max? Yeah, speculate on those as well. I am liking these new utility belts, and even with our high loot setting, I was kind of surprised to come across so many so quickly, especially one in really good condition like this one is. Now, the utility belts, I thought, just because they're long and skinny, I thought they had less storage than some of the other belts, but they don't. They've actually got more slots. So it's like a grid of 5 by 2, so there's really 10 available standard slots there. And the, what is it? The bum bag, honestly, I can't remember what that's called. I think it's only got 6, and the sporran bag's only got 9. So this utility belt is just the duck's guts as far as waistband storage goes. And to get one in tip-top condition like that was pretty damn awesome. We're finding a few other awesome things. Now, these boots that we started with don't have any storage on them, but the motorcycle boots do. So we're... Oh, actually, do they have storage on them? I don't think they do. Okay. Never mind. I switched them out thinking the motorcycle boots had a slot in them, but they don't. Oh, well, that's alright. It didn't really alter too much moving forward, but with moving around and with how quickly things are degrading, getting hold of replacement footwear periodically is just going to, it's just going to be a necessity, really. Probably not too long behind our need for food is going to be our need for making sure our equipment stays topped up. Now, we've been at this for, we'll say about half an hour, and we have not found a needle yet, and we have not found any thread yet. They must have tweaked something in the loot settings at some stage, because I remember when 1.0 hit, I feel like I was getting thread every third thing I looted, and that wasn't even with max settings. So yeah, I think they may have overcompensated the other way now. So we don't appear to get very much thread at all. In fact, mine. Oh, hello. Yellow screwdriver is pretty good find. But yeah, minor spoiler, for this whole 2 hour run, we did not see a single spool of thread for the entire run, which is odd, given our our loot. I'm going to keep saying max. Our loot is maxed out, and we still did not manage to find one, so that's bizarre. Anyway, we are upgrading our jacket now. So we found a trucker jacket, and the trucker jacket is, I think, a little bit warmer, but it's got a lot more space than the jacket that we spawned in with. So we're definitely going with that upgrade. I mean, it's probably not too far down the track before we actually finish getting rid of our entire starting outfit. I think we've really only got the pants left at this stage, so I don't imagine they're going to last much longer. We're going to want probably the firefighter pants or the military pants would be an upgrade over these, but I don't think many of the other ones would be, because we do get a bit of storage in these, and they are actually, pretty nice pants all up. So yeah, we're not going to worry about Christmas baubles. Hopefully you've got some nice shiny ones somewhere near you, and that they are doing good things for your Christmas spirit, as it were. I'm not a big Christmas tree person, usually because I don't sort of tend to bother with, I'm in a very small household of one, and I don't feel the need to go to the effort to set up a Christmas tree most of the time, because I'm usually off visiting other people. So yeah, one of these years I may get round to it, but in this ever-increasing cost of living type arrangement that we have these days, Christmas tree is yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're not that expensive. I should pull my finger out one of these days. Look, stay tuned. I'll see if I can get something done next Christmas. But for this one, yeah, we're just going to stick with our usual pattern. Oh, MRE's nice. All right, we're going to scoff that one down. As you can see, we are maintaining pretty good calories. We're a little bit low on water, but we started with a bottle of water, so that one's not going to be a problem. Surprisingly, our vitamins and minerals are staying very balanced, which I thought would be a problem with our higher metabolism, but it's actually working out pretty well so far. Strangely enough, even after scoffing a bag of cocoa where our sugar is quite low, but that's alright. I'm sure we'll come across some soft drink or lollies or something we can get that back up again with. The thing that we are conspicuously not coming across so far is, yeah, you guessed it, puppets. Where the hell are all the puppets? Well, you know what they say, be careful what you wish for. Well, we've done alright in this little village, but we're only really finding the utility items. We're coming up short on anything that might be useful in terms of weapons. And other than, the Laker that we've already set our eyes on, we haven't really found anything in the way of transport. So no spare parts for the Laker, and no push bikes or anything else up here. But it is only a little village. It is pretty much to be expected, to be honest. So given how many screwdrivers we've got, though, I feel like we'd be in a good position now to move to... Well, look, C3 Town's not that far from where we are. I think that's going to be a pretty logical progression for us to go there. So let's finish having a bit of a look around here. And I think we're just going to head down towards C3 Town and see what we can find down there that might float our boat, so to speak. I did pause here thinking, look, I could save a bit of time if I went direct cross country. And then I remembered, yeah, this is one of those areas where you can come across wolves and bears. And given the wolves and bears are one of the things that are, we'll say, a lot more powerful than they would be on default. Yeah, let's not run into one of those at this stage. Not until at least we've got some kind of pistol or rifle to help defend ourselves. So we are going to remain reasonably close to the road here while we follow the creek down. Oh, actually, we are kind of going cross country, but it's not too bad. This is along the creek here is usually reasonably safe. We're going to head down here. There is a... Oh, that's right. There's a hunter's stand here. We might go up there and see what, max loot is going to do for our ability to find sexy things. I know there can be some good bows, possibly a good rifle, sometimes some good clothing. So yeah, let's head up here and see what we manage to find. And then... as we continue down the creek, there's actually a couple of small farm buildings just on the main road at the bottom of the dirt road there. So actually it's not dirt road here, they're both normal roads, but You know what I mean. The main drag from C1 town that goes across to the nuclear reactor there. That's a reasonably major road, and where this road that we were on recently, where those two connect, there's a couple of like farm outbuildings. Probably won't have too much of interest in them based on what we've been able to find so far, but we'll have a bit of a look. We might get a bicycle or something there that might help us get around a bit more easily. As far as what this hunter's stand had to offer, it's got a 185, and yeah, the 185, I keep thinking I can fit it in this backpack, but it's actually a little bit longer than that backpack, and so it won't go in. In fairly short order, and after we've played quite a lot more Scum Tetris, we're going to work that out, and then we're going to decide that we can fit the axe in there instead, and then we'll just put the rifle on our back, and then we'll be okay to move on. Oh, there you go. That didn't take as long as we thought. Cool. All right. Well, let's get all this stashed away, and then we'll see if we can get down to these farm buildings, and we'll cross our fingers that we can find something more interesting to get around on other than our own shoe leather. Well, we found ourselves our first car part, and it's a tractor light. Okay, that might come in handy if we ever find a tractor. Our track record, though, has not been great. We're going to finish looking around these outbuildings unsuccessfully. There's no push bike even here. In fact, now I think about it, we've maxed everything out, so that includes wheelbarrows as well, and we have not even seen a wheelbarrow yet. I mean, this kind of underlies the type of luck I tend to have with vehicles in Scum. I swear the game just goes, ha, yes, we are going to really mess with, my ability to get a vehicle. And I know I'm not the only one. I watch Citizen Z and Oladino with their various efforts at getting vehicles sometimes, and honestly, I do feel for them when they have a bit of trouble, because that seems to be the standard way that Scum greets me every time I start a new save game, is to yeah, essentially take forever to find a vehicle. So anyway, we're looking around here. Again, not much. I'm sort of at the point now where we've got so much utility stuff on us. I'm just, I'm really looking for a vehicle. From this point forward, I just want either a something I can lockpick for weapons, or I want a vehicle. The general stuff is, well, I mean, look, we got clothing, we got nails, we got bolts, we got just about everything else we could ever need in the way of utility items, but we're coming up short on weapons and transport. So yeah, I think we just need to cut our losses here, and we need to head on down to the C1 town and see if our luck can improve in a larger arrangement of, well, loot potential, shall we say. Yes, well, here we are, C1 town. Got to admit, I don't know that I've spent much time here since 1.0 hit with all the map changes. Well, map changes. The map itself didn't change. They just did a bit of a rework on the towns and villages, and the general layout didn't change hugely. But quite a lot of the buildings underwent a bit of a rework, and this little corner of C1 town seems to be a little bit more cluttered than I remembered the last time that I came through. It's got a few more buildings. I was thinking I should have been on a road by now, but yeah, evidently not. There's a few more engineering sheds, I think, here than what there used to be. I mean, my memory is not great for how C1 used to be, but this just feels different. So anyway, we're getting back on track here. Yep, that's the road that I was expecting to find. Yeah, there's definitely a few more engineering sheds there, so I think that's all it is. They've just expanded stuff out this way a bit more. Oh, but wait, that's the police station? Oh, did they do away with some of the road? Oh, they might have bulldozed some of the road. That might be why I'm struggling to sort of overlay the old map with the new. But that's all right. The police station is our intended destination anyway. We're gonna have a look through these garages, maybe pick up another screwdriver or two. Honestly, I don't think we need them, but hey, look, the more the merrier. We're gonna look for some more car parts, and then I think it'll be about time that we head into the police station to see if we can get ourselves some better weapons. Max loot in a police station. I'm just salivating thinking about it. Alright, well, I thought I'd try a little bit of a top-down approach to clearing the police station. Partly because I thought, oh, being up here might make it a bit harder for the puppets to get up to me. Never got a chance to test that because, yeah, you guessed it, no puppets. I think with our max settings, I was thinking that maybe we've gone one past whatever the theoretical maximum number of puppets is that it can spawn. Or, more likely, all the delays and the distances that we have in our puppet spawning, by maxing those out, we're somehow not staying in an area long enough to give the puppets a chance to exhaust that timer, which is why we're not seeing any. I'm inclined to think that that's probably the reason why we're not seeing any, but then we're not really seeing a lot of vehicles either, and we've got, I would say, more than double the number of possible vehicles that you would ever see on a normal settings run through. Yet we've only seen one Laker. We've seen nothing else. So I don't know if the engine has a conniption. Like basically, because the max vehicles I think is 128. I mean, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but from mental note, I think it's 128 of each. Oh wait, let me come back to this. I thought that this body hanging out the window was a puppet, and I was getting all a bit excitable about it because I thought, oh, this is the first puppet, and it was just a puppet that was somehow lying down out a window. So I'll get my bow out and I'll shoot it to wake it up. No. I just shot a dead guy in the butt with an arrow. And that achieved nothing. Yeah, okay, anyway. I just thought I'd share that. Anyway, back to the whole limits of the engine type issue. I feel like maybe there's just not enough spawn locations when you take into account that the max slider for each of the vehicles is 128. Now that's your two Kinglet Duster, so the two planes, the stand-up paddle boards, the boats, all the vehicle types, so the Rager, the Volkswagen, the Laker, the motorbikes, so the dirt bike and the cruiser, plus your wheelbarrows and your two types of push bikes, so the mountain bike and the city bike. When you take into account all of the different vehicles, and I understand that they don't all share the same spawn location, so the push bikes, and I think to an extent with the motorbikes, there might be a little bit of an overlap with some of the spots. But the vehicles only generally like four-wheeled vehicles only spawn in four-wheeled vehicle locations, and boats only spawn at docks, etc. So within those limitations, I'm wondering if you drag all of the vehicles to the maximum number of working vehicles, is there a problem with not having enough spawn locations to actually have that many vehicles on the map at any one time? Leave me your thoughts down below in the comments if you think that that might actually be a possibility. I've not done any research. Like I've been playing Scum on and off for a long time, so I've got a bit of a ballpark idea where a lot of the spawns are, and I appreciate that a few of them have probably been moved around a bit with these recent changes, but overall I would say we've got approximately the same number of vehicle spawn locations that we had before, and we've recently had the tractor added back into the mix. I'm wondering, are we kind of breaking our chances of getting sufficient vehicles spawned by accidentally requesting too many? Yeah, have a bit of a think about it, and if you've got some thoughts or theories, share them down below in the comments. I'd be very interested to hear what you think. In the meantime, we're making off like a trooper in the police station. We've picked a couple of locks, and we've got we got a lot of stuff here. The problem we have, at least for the moment, is when we're getting magazines that don't align with the pistols that we're finding. Now, to try and give me a bit more bag space until at least I can find a pistol that I do have a magazine for, I'm just loading up the magazines I have with the appropriate ammunition, so at least I'm ready to go in that regard. But for the moment, I mean, the HS-19 is a very nice pistol, but we haven't got any HS-19 mags, but we do have a bucket load of 9mm, so I guess I can use it as a single shot pistol if it comes down to that. But it would be nice to actually get a pistol for our magazines or a magazine for our pistols. So we're going to go and finish working our way through this police station, and we're going to cross our fingers and toes that we can... No way. Seriously? We just got an ASVAL. We got like no ammunition for it because it takes 9x39. No, not 7.62x39. Yeah, I was a little rusty there. I'd forgotten. But yeah, the ASVAL takes 9x39. It's not a very common type of ammunition. But given our loot settings, I feel like we're in with a shot of getting some. So we're going to abandon hopes of getting a SCAR DMR. I don't think I've ever found one in a police station. They're usually something you need to go into a bunker for. So I think I'm pretty safe to dump that magazine for now. And we're going to see if we can Yeah, see if we can find some more good things in this police station. All right. I love this room in the police station because, I mean, look, you get as many, locked lockers upstairs in total, but I always seem to do better out of the ones in this room. I can't describe why, but we're already off to a good start, even though I don't really care about the key cards at this stage. But we did get ourselves a shotgun. Hey, we don't need a magazine, and we've got bucket loads of ammo for it. So That's a good find. So we're going to pull it out and load it up here. So we've got ourselves a loaded weapon. Yes, we did away with our bow. I'm going to go into more detail later as to why we've got rid of it. Bit of a controversial decision, but when you understand a bit later why I've done it, you'll realise that it was a reasonably logical choice. So given we've got rid of the bow, we don't need the arrows, and boom, we now have ourselves quite a bit of additional space. We're just making some value judgments here about whether any of these other magazines are worth taking with us. Short answer, not really. I think we'll take the Block 21 mag just in case we get a Block 21. It is a better 45 caliber pistol than the 1911, mostly because the magazine holds more bullets. So we'll leave that door open in case it becomes an option. If we don't find one, that's fine. We're not wasting a lot of room by carrying one of the magazines with us. Oh God, we got 9mm ammo coming out of our 9mm ammo at the moment. Oh, 45 rounds. Yep, we'll have some of those. And yeah, this is the downside of having max loot. It really is a case of trying to find some semblance of logic in terms of what you're prepared to keep and what you're prepared to get rid of, and have some goals in terms of, I mean, you can kind of hedge your bets for a little bit, you know, carry some 45, carry some 9mm. Both of those pistol types are reasonably common, but outside of that, there's quite a number of different 45 caliber weapons, and there's quite a few different 9mm weapons, and of course they all need magazines. So it's kind of a juggling cats exercise, particularly if you don't have a lot of space. Now, we're going okay for space, but it would be better if we had the big hiker's backpack, but honestly, I think that would just have us carrying more stuff, but not necessarily solve our issues in terms of, you know, not having good setups that match up with the weapons that we have. So we got ourselves, we found another Tico 490 shotgun there, but it's in lower condition, so we're going to leave that one behind. I was going to see if I could salvage, but then I remembered I need a workbench or a drill press to bust it down into parts, so we're not going to bother with that. We've found, yep, we've got a 1911 now. That's awesome. We've got a HSF 19 there, which we need to find a spot for that somewhere. And welcome to round 17 of Scum Tetris. Alright, full disclosure time. Here we are, we're about an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes into the episode. This is, I'm going to say, approximately halfway in terms of the recorded footage, and increasingly I'm skipping stuff. So as in my search, I've got a couple of good weapons. I don't need screwdrivers, I don't need bolts, I don't need nails, I don't need any of that mundane stuff. I just want to find either a driver's seat for a Laker or some other vehicle which is near enough to complete that I can get it running. That's about my only goal at this stage. So we are increasingly at this stage gonna start fast forwarding and cutting. Now, I haven't seen a puppet up to this point. Don't worry, we are going to run into a few as time moves on, but we've still got a bit of spare time up our sleeve. We're just occasionally checking on kitchens just so we can maintain some food, because as for reasons previously established, we do need to keep our calories ticking over, but realistically that's pretty easy to maintain. And the only thing that I really want to get is a vehicle, because I actually want to do some experimenting with a vehicle on this setting. So we are very determined to find one. And we've got a little bit of experimenting to do on some puppets. Now, we will get a chance to do that a bit later. I'm not going to spoil anything in terms of the vehicle. What I am going to say is from this point forward, there's going to be more and more cutting and sped up footage, simply because a lot of it is just me moving around or me playing Scum Tetris, and there's really nothing particularly exciting going on for whatever the bit of footage is that I've sped up or I've just cut completely. So yes, I fully intended to keep this all intact, but on review, watching me run from point A to point B with near as much as a chicken clucking in the background, yeah, is about as stimulating as it sounds. So yeah, that's the stuff that I've, from this point forward, I'm just going to leave that on the cutting room floor. So you're welcome. Anyway, we're going to finish doing our bit of searching here, and then we're going to look at resuming our scouting exercise to try and locate some appropriate transport. Honestly, I just transport in general. Hell, if I could just find a wheelbarrow at this stage, at least that would confirm that stuff can spawn. Oh look, car part. They do spawn. Wow, I'm being a bit, sarcastic and facetious, because we've seen two different alternators for other vehicles, and of course the tractor tail light. But We've managed to get a, what is that, a right-hand side front door for a Rager. Well, that would be interesting if we, I don't know, had a Rager we could attach it to, but unfortunately we have not been able to locate one of those at all. And I feel like, look, leave some comments down below if you think I've missed some of the potential vehicle spawn locations with the new modified map. I think it's pretty likely I may have missed one or two in C1 town here. But at the time I was running around, I felt like I'd exhausted all of the possible spots that you could hide a vehicle in, and we didn't see a single vehicle in any of them. Not even so much as a wheelbarrow or a push bike. So at this stage, I think we're basically done here. We're going to have a quick little look here and pretty much confirm, yeah, no, there's nothing going on here. I think we need to move on. So there's a couple of farm buildings at the top of this hill with another vehicle spawn location up there. We're going to have a little sniff around here for a couple of minutes longer, and then we're going to head up the hill and see if we have any luck up there with trying to find some kind of transport. I haven't really ever had much success with the car spawning up here, but I have been pretty lucky with the dirt bike and a cruiser in the past. And they're usually just here in this shed, but as you can see, there is nothing there. Now, the other place that I occasionally get lucky is around the side here. Sometimes there's a push bike, but yeah, that would be a no as well. So, yeah, I'm inclined to think the vehicle spawns are broken when you have this many vehicles requested. That's going to be my stance until I manage to do some more testing, and I don't feel like I want to be doing that just yet. That might be a project for the new year at some stage. For now, though, we have found ourselves some firefighter pants. So we've got a little bit more storage in our pants. We can finally say goodbye to the ones that we spawned in with. And, okay, so not a complete waste of effort coming up here, so that's fine. Alright, let's get back on the road again, and we're going to start heading down sort of towards the airfield, sort of in that general direction. We might swing by the factory, I think. And because with our settings we don't have the sentries turned on, the factory might be another place where we might be able to lay eyes on a vehicle. I actually think there might be more than one spawn location in that factory area. I just can't think where they are at the moment. I mean, it's not normally a place I go looking for vehicles, because usually I have the sentries turned on, and you know, trying to get in and steal a vehicle and get out again without getting multiple holes shot in you is, well, it's an adventure at the best of times, and not the kind of adventure I usually go looking for. So, yeah, we're going to go down to the bottom of C1 here, and we're going to have a look at the factory, which means we're going to run down this dirt road, and we'll go past one of the old locations for Ronya's Diner, and we had quite a party at that particular location in oh no, is that years gone by? Ooh, yeah, we might be overdue for another one. I think we'll have to see what we can get going, but for the moment, I've just occurred to me that access card is for a bunker in C0, and well, C0 is basically all a radiation zone, so we have no interest in going there. What we did see though is a drop, and the drop is going to be right pretty close to where the factory is. Now, like all of the other sliders, the drop sliders got, you know, dragged to their max as well. How that relates is the time between drops is huge. The amount of time it takes for the drop to actually happen is huge. So from when it's triggered to when it's on the ground, it's like 20 minutes or something. It's huge. So we've got, well, I won't say all the time in the world, but we've got a lot of time to get down there. And we're going to have no trouble at all getting to it. The timer on the actual explosive is quite long as well, so I don't know. I didn't do the math, but we might even have like an hour from announcement to when it explodes. So we've got heaps of time to get down there. And a few little detours like this along the way, just looking for push bikes and things like that, are not hurting our cause at this stage. Unfortunately, we're not finding any push bikes or cars or indeed anything else that has wheels on it. So we're going to get back on the road here and keep heading towards the factory. Ah, beer. You know what makes you thirsty? Not finding vehicles. Yeah, it's very thirsty work not finding vehicles. No, that's not the reason I'm drinking the beer. The beer is a good whack of calories in Scum, so given how quick our metabolism is, fully chugging a beer every now and again is not a bad way of keeping up your calories. So we put one away probably about every half hour or so on average, and that seems to help out a bit. Chugging the old soft drinks as well, that doesn't hurt. Obviously, we still need to actually eat something with some nutritional value, but we seem to be coming across just enough of that to not really be of any to not really cause us any issues. Oh, hello. Military pants. Yeah, we'll have those. Yeah, they give us a little bit more room than the firefighter ones, and I think we end up with a bit more carry weight as well. So they are definitely an upgrade. So I'm going to move all of our bits and pieces over there, and then we'll carry on our search. Back at the crossroads there, we had a bit of a look down at where the drop was going to be, but it's not on the ground yet as we expected, which is why we've continued to come here to the factory just to have a quick poke around. I mean, we don't have enough time to fully search the place, but honestly, I don't know that there's going to be a lot that we could gain here. It would be nice to find some more ammo for the ASVAL. Maybe find some more magazines for it as well. I think that would be a realistic thing to be able to locate in the sort of the military section. But at this stage, theoretically we've got just as much chance of finding that or better in the drop. So we're just going to... oh, hello. Night vision goggles. Yeah, well, with our night setting at the moment, we don't really need them. And with the rate that stuff degrades, look, it might be a little experiment I do at some stage, but I have a funny feeling that the night vision goggles will chew through batteries like they're going out of fashion on this setting. But I will, just to test the old curiosity, I will give that a go at some stage. Right, we've just got to climb over here to try and get to these... Ooh, knife holster! Oh, that's a good find. We've finally got somewhere we can put our little knife that we started with. And, yep, pop that up there on our hotbar. Not much else we can do over here except... Oh, yes, I need to wee again. This is a problem with eating fruit and drinking beer, is you are constantly needing to pee. And, well, look, we're on an elevated platform here, so let's spread out the love a bit. Now, these glasses that we got on, I can't remember where we found them, but they are absolutely hysterical. I should have got a screenie of this guy's face at some stage just to see how out of place they are, but you're just going to have to live in your imagination as far as how gaudy and terrible they are. Oh, look, we've got to have our fun with these runs. Now, yeah, I don't know that there's much else we're going to find in here in terms of things that we actually will get good use out of. Yeah, we've already got a bottle of soda. Actually, we'll swap it out because that one we just found has got a bit more in it. And another couple of crates here to search. Oh yeah, beanie. Don't care about that. Halloween mask. Yeah, don't care about those. And don't care about fireman's helmet. I think we're basically done here. We'll continue looking for vehicles, but honestly, I don't really care about anything else. Except a vehicle and getting back to that drop. So let's focus on that and we'll see how we get on. Alright, here we are. We have made it to the drop. We can see from the smoke that the drop is on the ground. And yes, we're about to see one of the effects of having things maxed out is puppets. Ah, these are literally the first puppets we've seen in 2.5 hours. Actually, no, about 2 hours of gameplay. So we've got puppets. There's quite a lot of them. There's some long, like corn or grass or something there that makes it hard to see all of them. But trust me, there is a mountain of them there in close around where the drop is. Now, I haven't got any scopes for any of the weapons, and I had completely forgotten that the ASVAL defaults to fully automatic, hence the bullets going everywhere. Now, I thought, based on my previous experiences with the ASVAL summoning hordes, I thought I'd have a horde by now, but it's like, oh, okay, maybe something to do with the settings I'm using, maybe they've changed something since the last time I played, but the ASVAL, we barely had half a dozen rounds for it, so needless to say, in fully auto, we went through those pretty quick. We do have quite a lot of shotgun rounds, so anticipating the need for potentially shooting a lot of puppets, we're unpacking a bit of the shotgun rounds that we have with us so that we can reload on the fly and hopefully do the whole repel borders thing if we do get rushed. I'm having a bit of a look at the other stuff. So we've got our 1911 pistol is not in a good way. It's below 50%. I don't know if that means it's going to end up jamming or anything like that, but we've got a couple of magazines for it, and we're going to make sure those are full. And right, we're loading up our pistol. Alright, we're just getting ourselves ready here to do some damage. Alright, we're just putting a couple of rounds here into a puppet, and the puppet doesn't seem to be going down. Yeah, getting lots of blood coming out of the puppet. We've hit it a couple of times, and it's still not going down. Anyone want to guess the reason why our puppet is showing such stern fortitude in the face of multiple 45 caliber bullet hits? Yeah, that's right. The puppets have increased health. Anyone want to hazard a guess on what the maximum multiplier is for puppet health? That's right. It's times 100. Not times 10, times 100. So if you could kill a puppet with, let's say, I'm doing a lot of body shots here, so let's be fair about this exercise. With a 45, regular puppet would be probably 2, maybe 3 body shots with a 45 pistol. Let's times that by 100. How many rounds is that going to be? Yeah, this hadn't sort of dawned on me fully just how many bullets it's going to take to knock down a puppet. So, you know, not to be dissuaded, we emptied our 2 magazines. Look, we whiffed with a few rounds, so that's fine, that's on us. And pistols aren't great at a distance. We're also noticing that our pistol, just putting 2 magazines worth of ammo through it, has taken off, I'm going to say 10 to 15% of its durability, like total, not relative. And yeah, our pistol is probably not going to last much longer, and we still haven't successfully killed a puppet. Alright, well let's get back in there. And let's see if we can kill a puppet. Now, there is one problem with what we just did. We actually pulled a bit too far back, and the puppets despawned and then respawned. So we've got a virgin set of puppets now. So the chunky puppet was obviously taking too many hits to knock them down. So I thought I'll start with a more regular puppet, and we're going to put a few 45 rounds through it, and we're going to see if we can kill it. Anyone want to guess whether we're going to be successful? It's not much of a guess, really, is it? Because even if we could kill one of the regular ones with a single bullet normally, it's going to take 100 times that damage to kill one of these puppets. And again, that hadn't really dawned on me at this stage. I'm just sitting back here enjoying the fact that my unsuppressed weapons are not triggering a horde. I mean, what's up with that? First, look, I'm not going to complain about it, because the alternative, which is probably the way it used to be, and you only had to have a cockroach break wind somewhere near you, and that was enough to summon a horde. So yeah, I think I'll stop complaining about the noise thing, and we're just going to keep going with our little experiment here. We're going to get in a little bit closer, which is a bit risky, but we want to try and get some more guaranteed hits on our puppets. So the only way to do that is to get in close, and I don't think I want to get any closer than where we are now. We are still whiffing a bit with the pistol, but given the quality of the pistol now, I'm surprised that we're hitting at all. Not to mention our skill is not very high. Now on that, you've probably been noticing over the course of this episode that I've been getting quite a lot of skill ups. Well, there's an easy explanation for that. One of the sliders is the rate at which you get experience and fame, and the multiplier obviously is maxed out, so that's why we're skilling up so quickly. But that didn't really bother me too much at this stage. It's more the whole trying to kill puppets thing, and our 1911 just broke because it ran out of durability. So we are down to just our shotgun in terms of anything that we have that does decent damage. So we are going to town with our shotgun. Now this shotgun was loaded with slug rounds. Now slug rounds do hit pretty hard. I found them very effective against most kinds of puppets. And, oh, hello, we knocked him down, and he got back up again. And we're still shooting him, and we're going to town on him, and he's still not dead. We are, however, for those paying attention, getting awfully close to the end of the episode. Anyone want to guess what's about to happen? Yep. There's going to be a party at my dude's place, and all of the puppets are invited. Yeah, anyone want to guess how that's going to end? That's right, not very well. So, while that scene gradually unfolds in the background, I'm going to thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you can be notified of any future releases. Until next time, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching, and above all, make sure you have yourself an absolutely fantastic day.